Right, we're just about the middle of July, and a bit of an update on things. You can see some of the apples are now, there's a fair bit of apples on these trees, and as I walk down this way now, you can see there's going to be a good crop if all these come good. And you can see here's another quite mature apple tree, and they're doing okay as well, so they're okay. Plums, as I said before, we seem to have a lot on the plums, so they're starting to fill out now, and I notice the branches are starting to droop, and as they get heavier I might need to put a bit of rope on these to hold them together to prevent the branches from breaking. As we move on down, broad beans, I've had couple of crops off them so far, waiting for them to fill out the beans again and get probably at least one more big crop off them. Starting to look a little bit worse for wear, but they'll still come. Here's my potato patch, which, as you know, I've dug those up and I've stored those. Raspberries are not yet flowering, but I can see a lot of insects on them, which is good. And there's a bits and pieces. They are flowering, sorry, they haven't produced the raspberries. That patch there was where my onions and garlic were. Run of beans, a lot of flower on them, top of the stems now. I have picked a handful off the bottom, but if I look, there's a lot coming in the middle, which is where the bulk of them will come from. And we're only mid-July, so I would say hopefully they'll start cropping well in the next week or so, or probably 2 weeks I'd say, and then through August and onwards. My second lot of onions are now beginning to flop over, and that's normally a sign it's time to harvest them, so I'll be pulling these up now in the next few days to harvest them in and add them and start drying them like the other ones I did earlier. Under the netting, we've still got the sprouts and the sprouting broccoli now filling up that area, so I'll probably need to get in there soon. Sweet corn has gone really well. If you look there now, must be 5 foot high, and sprouting out the little feathery bits, so I'm looking forward to those going well. Peas, I've had a load of peas off, and as you look you can see I've probably got another harvest to do on these, because there's quite a set of pods. I'll leave it another day or so, because it's always best to make sure they're full, and then I pick them all, freeze them, and then I got peas all autumn and into the winter. Courgettes really took a load off this week, and if you look, I've already got others coming again. Here's a nice sized courgette. So again, probably Friday this week I'll do some picking. End of the week, try and pick as many as you can. Leeks, pretty solid. Those will be for the autumn. The clematis is all out in flower. It's growing through the Japanese maple. The maple a little bit burnt by the wind, some of its top leaves, but the clematis is looking nice against it. A job I tend to start now and run through to the end of August is trimming the hedges. It's a job I hate doing, unfortunately. If you look, I have made a start on trimming these hedges, and over the next few weeks I'll go out and do a bit every other day probably, and get them all done by the end of August. Greenhouses, here's the cucumbers, and again, cropping quite well. I'm getting, I'd say, in the region of 7 or 8 a week off them. And again, I'll probably leave these till Friday, end of the week, pick them all off, and then see how we go. In terms of chili peppers, well, you can see there's a green chili pepper there. I will pick some of green. Oh, there's loads in there, I can see everywhere. Look, I will pick some of green, but the others I'll leave to go red. Similar with the sweet peppers, a little bit behind, but you can see there's some sweet peppers coming. And this is a different variety of sweet pepper. And again, I tend to leave almost all those to go red, because I don't like them green. Where are we looking? How's the grapes doing? Here we go. Here's the grapes. So they're starting to fill out a little bit. So overhauling this greenhouse, so I'm pretty happy. Tomato greenhouse. So here's some beefies, and you can see they're that's quite a whopper there, and we got some good beef tomatoes coming, all green at the moment because obviously they'll take a while before they all turn. If we look at the smaller ones here, see that they are turning. I have had a couple of ones just to taste, which are lovely and nice and sweet, but just waiting for them to turn. And what I've done is I have stripped the leaves from the bottom of the plants in order to give them a bit more light to help them get the turning red. Update on the dry-in. There's my garlic, and you can see these are now starting to, they're pretty dry, but I'll leave them a little bit longer before I string them up. Onions similar. I've got the other onions to add to this when I pull them up, but this is a couple of weeks since I dug these up, and again, might as well leave them another week just to really dry them off and make sure they're good. I have cut some oregano. I've got an oregano plant. It was heading to flower, so I have cut some of that off and I put that up to dry as well. So once that's dried, I'll cut it up and put it in a jar as dried oregano. If you're wondering where Scruff is, he's decided that he's not coming out to play today. So I think he's in his basket. So, let's have a look. What are you doing today, Scruff? Oh yeah, there he is. You're not coming out to play today? No? You're a bit tired, aren't you?